Good morning, guys, and welcome to FYI. We are happy to be here with you guys. After yesterday, we are delighted to be here with each and every one of you. Share the live with folks, smash that emoji button, and please partner with us as well so we can keep on doing these programs. We thank you for your love, we thank you for your support, and we thank you for your generosity, folks. We got a lot to discuss with you this morning. Welcome to FYI. For your information, folks, it's already the 18th day of October. Yeah, until the place getting dark fast, coming out to Christmas. Good to have all of you here with us, joining us from the various places you're joining us from. Yesterday, our internet service providers were off, wasn't us? We were fired up, Jermaine Griffith, and ready to go. Donette Harding, we were ready to go. Yolanda Thomas, all the yesterday Edward Rooms, but our internet service providers, they had some technical difficulties to work out. We got back into the service very late last evening, and we're happy to be on. Folks, I'm back in the 592. Back in the 592, you know how it goes. I'm almost ashamed to say that, but that is what transpired. All the yesterday, we had no internet. Yep. Deliberate or otherwise. You all know how it goes. Tony Massey Cub, we see you here, and Donna Joseph and Siobhan McDonald, Audrey Stevens, and all the other folks who are joining us this morning. We got a lot of this because we got a lot of makeup for as well. But good to have each and every one of you in the live. Sonia, how are you doing there? How are you doing in Maryland, Sonia? How are you doing in Maryland? Good to have you on the live this morning. You know how we say, trust all is well at your end and all the other ends this morning. We trust that you guys have hit the ground running. We trust you all are fired up and you are ready to go. Good to see all of you. Rachel Wolford, Beverly Booker, we see you there. And I dare say all the other folks who are joining us this morning. We are nothing short of privileged to have you guys here with us. Pace and power. We're fired up, guys, as we said, and we are ready to go. Fired up. Good, folks. And we are ready to go. Good to see all of you on the live this morning. And again, from all those various places you all are joining us. You all know you all able. You all know you all able, good folks. So welcome, Karen Gittins, Irvin Don, Donna Joseph, I see you there. We see you, Donna. And the other folks who are joining us, folks, welcome to our broadcast. We're so sorry we were off air yesterday. Let me apologize again for that. So sorry. No fault of ours. I wish I could take the blame. But I ain't taking no blame for the service providers. You know, something happened there. Something happened there yesterday at their end. And a lot of folks were offline for most of the day yesterday in these parts. Good to see you, Wendy Caesar, Seymour George, and the other folks who are joining us this morning. Great to have all of you guys. Loretta Argyle, Maxine still on the live. You all know how we say it. Good to have you good folks on the live this morning. Good to have you. Vashti Magnot says Canada's in the house. Your friend says you're on Vashti. Carrie come for that matter. That you're we can talk about that a little later on. Emily Durant is here with us too. Debbie Collins, Don Binns, and some other folks here with us. Folks, welcome to each and every one of you. Welcome to FYI. We got a lot of things to talk about. Believe it or not, a lot to cover, folks. A lot in the morning papers. This morning, oil, the audits, Venezuela. Those are some of the things making the rounds this morning. All the audits in Venezuela on the audits front. Never Mr. Norton and team came out quite recently to say, in a meeting with them, Exxon Mobil had agreed that they and the government brought down this 240 million disputed spending by Exxon that we would have to pay back. They had brought that down to 3 million. Well, Exxon now saying they never had a conversation like that with the opposition. Exxon now saying they never had a conversation like that. You see, because Barrett pulled out himself. Is now he. Vikram Barrett himself too. Brad Jack Neo, Vikram, all the Barretts pull out himself. This is Bobby Gusai. It's Bobby Gusai. Is he alone? And this rogue team. Folks, last week, leader of the opposition last week spoke on this very issue of this Exxon Mobil audit. He spoke on this very, very issue. Himself and the economic advisor to the PNCR, Mr. Elson Lowe, spoke on this issue of the bringing down of this 214 million to 3 million. And I don't know if I got to believe between the parliamentary opposition and Exxon, based on Bobby Gusai, this whole scandal, who think I believe in? Exxon really showing the three stripes, you know. Everybody told him it was Exxon. We wanted to start on a new leaf and a clean page with them. But folks, they're showing the true colors. Here is what Mr. Norton said in that statement, in that press conference last week about this very issue. This morning in the papers, Exxon said they never had a talk. They never had a conversation. Take a look. Take a listen.
Let's start by recognizing that Barra Jagdo is a pathological liar, and anything he says has to be taken with a pinch of salt. But I am aware this morning I edited a letter that will be sent to the press. In this letter, we're saying, one, we engaged ExxonMobil on the 8th of September 2023, that we raised with them this whole question of the paid company guarantee, and they said at the time that they will honor their obligation, and they proceeded to say that they operate based on integrity, transparency, and accountability. We also said in the letter that we sent in that ExxonMobil owes it to the public to say whether it is true or not. In that meeting with us, they did say that they agreed with the decision to bring it down to 3 million. They agreed with the government. And the reason that they didn't pursue it further was because it was voluminous documentation and it would have consumed a lot of time. And I know that the letter that we will put into the press, if it's already not there, because I know I sent it to the person who should put it, we made it very, very clear that that was a discussion we had with ExxonMobil. And the only area that I can expect a pronouncement to come from on this issue is ExxonMobil. We know what we said is correct. Absolutely so. There's no need for us to lie. And so that is why we ask in the public domain for Exxon to address it publicly, because we are also aware of the nature of Barra Jagdo. Sometimes, no call was made anywhere. But this is the nature of the man.
Just to build on that as well, folks, it is not just that there's a flyaway comment that this 3 million was agreed. There were explanations provided. It was an entire conversation. And so we can't take seriously what Jagdo is saying. It is not some random thing that was said. It was an entire discussion. And it was stipulated that they could have gone further, which is what Mr. Patterson has recently said. But they said that it doesn't make sense given the length and the amount of paperwork that's involved. There was explanations provided. So, I don't think Guyana should take Jagdo seriously from that perspective. There's another element of this, though, that we need to dispel, which is that Jagdo keeps saying that the reason that he doesn't want to engage with this audit is it's technical and there's technical people and so on. But, folks, one of the main contentions, which is what we raised with the operator, is the provision of information. That is not a technical matter. We raised that because the auditor had indicated that information was not being provided even after multiple requests. And so we had to raise that with the operator. Any reasonable government would do so. Has the PUP done so? Now, the other thing that we want to point out here is, it's certainly interesting to hear that the president would call Exxon in front of cabinet to say that they hadn't agreed this. But you know what I take away from that? I take away from that it is very possible that the president and cabinet do not believe that this investigation really has come to the bottom of it, and that there may be more to come from this. So I would ask you in the media to, when you next see the president, to ask him whether he has confidence in that investigation and confidence in Barra Jagdo remaining as the minister responsible for oil. Because this seems to me, and of course I could be wrong, but it feels a bit like a Nancy story, doesn't it?
To start.
There you have it, folks. There you have it. That's what the leader of the opposition said last week on this matter, and I believe them. They went into a meeting with Exxon, and Exxon admitted that they, along with the government, agreed. Jagdo said, now, Exxon came out this morning to say they never said anything like that in this meeting with the opposition. Wow. Wow. So you're going into these meetings, now you got to carry a tape recorder. Right? You know what? Exxon and Jagdo they cook up with Gusai. They said Gusai is going to be disciplined He's doing his PhD now. We're being told in some foreign land. That's a discipline. Government paid scholarship, mind you, in some foreign land doing a PhD for his role. That's what we're being told. It's alleged. That's the brown bag he got out of this. PhD, bought and paid for. Jack said he operated on his own, engaged in Exxon. Operated on his own. Vikram Bharat, subject minister, said the same thing. Right? And you heard Elson Lowe. This was a no of the COP statement. This was a discussion. Exxon said itself and the government agreed. You see, they're going to bring down this disputed amount that Exxon would have to pay back to us from 214 million US. Us, to 3 million. Exxon saying this morning, not them. Anthony Jarvis, they're saying it's not them. Good to see Erwin Don and Stacey Lewis, Donella Johnson on the live this morning. That's what's happening out there. Good folks. Naomi Drucker, you had a chance to believe Alistair Rutledge. Jack Dio, parliamentary opposition. Where you coming down? Dolly Anderson, Vanilla Garnett, Brenda Moore, Yolanda Thomas. Which side you coming down on? Those are some of the issues we're grappling with this morning. Beautiful people out there. Just some of the myriad issues we're contending with out there. How are you all doing, man? We miss each and every one of you. Yesterday, we're trying to find our way at this end here. You know. So when we go into these meetings now, you got to now record. But Exxon don't mind because they don't want to upset the government, of course. They don't want to upset the government, of course. At least they get that 2016 PSA renegotiated. So they don't want to upset the government. Folks, if you're joining us this morning, we don't run on the water. You're getting valid, credible information, partner with us. We're circulating. That link is in the stream coming to you. Check it out. So that's what you're having now. You got to record when you go in these meetings. You got to carry your video camera, your tape, record everything because Exxon apparently cannot be trusted. Cannot be trusted. Give them the benefit of the doubt that they were coming in with clean hands. You know we were warned. You know they warned us with Alistair. Rutledge, they warned us. Here we are, good folks. Here we are. All agreed. One thing there's agreement on. Bobby Gusai acted according to them. Right? We got recordings. According to them, Bobby Gusai acted alone. Right? Or alone with this team in the Ministry of Natural Resources. Vikram Bharat didn't know. Barjagya didn't know. They said they can discipline him. He's doing a PhD, folks. And an Ivy League University, Matthew. Oh my God. I find some people gonna like this kind of discipline, you know. I find some people gonna like this kind of discipline. And they're gonna want misbehave steady. Edward Brooms, Selwyn, Wanda Hudson. They're gonna want to misbehave often. That's what I find. Vesta Hardy, Rajkumar, Andrew Griffith, Wenda, Gil Alicock. I find these folks gonna wanna misbehave much too often when they're getting this kind of discipline. This kind of discipline. The man is doing a PhD overseas. We can discipline him the same way they can discipline Sue. Good folks, they find Sue yet? Have they found Sue as yet? Gentle friends, these are some of the issues we're dealing with this morning. Venezuela is also on the front border. Vesta Hardy and John Cameron, Maureen to Chester Paul, Venezuela. is also on the front burner. A lot of Venezuelans coming into this country through a porous borders. Thank you, PPP. We hear they're pouring in Region 3, Tushen. They're pouring in. That's what they tell us. Among other places. And yesterday, leader of the opposition and leader of the Alliance for Change, leader of the opposition, leader of the People's National Congress Reform, leader of the Alliance for Change, had a press conference on this very matter. That is how important and urgent. A lot of birth certificates passing as well. A lot of birth certificates are being given to Venezuelans. That's the word on the ground. You got the gerrymandering of the boundaries, the electoral boundaries. And the Venezuelans want to gerrymander territorial boundaries as well. And they're being facilitated for votes by the PPP. They're being facilitated for votes. So yesterday there was a press conference by the parliamentary opposition, leader of the Alliance for Change, leader of the People's National Congress Reform. Here's Mr. Norton's statement on this Venezuelan issue. And Mr. Norton in this statement makes a lot of sense. As usual, makes a lot of sense. Take a look at what Mr. Norton said. Take a listen.
PPP sleeps at the wheels while our refugee situation gets out of control. Having agreed publicly to support the government as it relates to the protection of our territorial integrity and sovereignty, it was anticipated that the government and opposition will work in a united fashion to deal with the Venezuela threat. We believe that there are several critical issues to be addressed. We remain alarmed over the continued influx into Guyana of refugees from Venezuela and the PPP government inept and treacherous response to the situation. The number of Venezuelan refugees in Guyana is estimated around 35,000, and that number is growing as we speak. In several critical ways, this situation has long reached crisis proportions for the nation. First, A, a threat to national security and territorial integrity. Most of these refugees now reside in our sparsely populated hinterland region. Should they become a majority in any sizable area of our territory, Guyana could face the threat of possible annexation of these areas by Venezuela, similar to the fate of Crimea, which was seized by Russia in March 2014 on the grounds that the majority of the population there is made up of ethnic Russians and Russian speakers. The influx and uncontrolled integration of refugees can also facilitate the placement of fifth columnists and operatives into key government, military, and leadership positions, both at the local and national levels, and thus achieve a soft invasion of the country with far-reaching implications to our security, independence, and nationhood. Threat to Guyanese nationality and electoral integrity. We have repeatedly expressed our deep concern over the possibility and reality of the PPP seeking to register refugees as electors. That threat also confronts our country today. In this regard, let us recap a few critical developments. In August 2021, the PPPC administration passed the Registration of Births and Deaths Amendment Bill, which became Act Number 9 of 2021. Particularly, this act introduced into our laws a deceptively harmless provision which the PPP government said was intended to simplify the requirements for obtaining a Guyana birth certificate. Section 44A, one of the new sections inserted into the law, outlines the process by which an adult who has no documentation whatsoever may acquire a Guyana birth certificate on that basis alone. 1, a declaration in a prescribed form signed by a person of high standing in the community, including a community leader or tushaw. Or 2, a declaration under the Statutory Interpretation Act by a person of high standing in the community, including a community leader or two shall. This declaration is to be signed by a justice of the peace or a commissioner of oaths, and the declaration must state the particulars of the birth of the person. Effectively, the law provides a means for any person to be registered as a born Guyanese without the need to provide proper evidence that they were indeed born in Guyana. Furthermore, any person once armed with a Guyana birth certificate and over 14 years of age now becomes entitled to be listed in the National Register of Registrants from which the voters list is extracted. Compare this slackness to the much tighter requirements in other countries. In Trinidad and Tobago, for example, a person seeking a birth certificate is required to provide documentary proof, such as a letter from the hospital where they were born, an immunization card, names of siblings, or a record from the school they attended, all documents that a genuine applicant already has or can readily obtain. We raised the alarm then that the PPP intended to effect thousands of birth registrations, particularly in those far-flung hinterland regions, using an established network of PPPC-aligned justices of the peace, two shows, and notaries public. The danger is compounded by the fact that the Ghana Election Commission now conducts office-based registration without verification of residence, as the PPP has also removed the residency requirement from the Registration Act. Guyanese must be aware that the registration of births and deaths is a critical component of our election integrity and national security. The adding of persons to a register who are not legitimately entitled undermines the integrity of the population and can lead to the anomalies in the allocation of resources and voting and representation. Note that we draw a distinction between the registration of refugees for administrative purposes, which is necessary, and the registration for citizens, which we oppose. Our core principles on the rights of refugees. The opposition wishes to reiterate that despite these deep concerns, we remain committed to the comfortable settlement of these economic refugees in our homeland, as a demonstration of our typical Guyanese hospitality and our full compliance with our international humanitarian obligations to refugees. The UN Convention of Refugees, under which Ghana is obligated to accept refugees, spells out clearly that they are entitled to such rights as employment, education, healthcare, internal travel and housing, international law. However, makes a clear distinction between migrants and refugees. In particular, there's no obligation for states to grant political rights to refugees. Each nation has to assess its own particular circumstances. Our circumstances are exacerbated by the incompetence and ploys of the PPPC administration, as well as by the fact that our country's borders are extremely porous, our system of immigration and border control is lax, and government lacks the ability and interest to determine who is crossing our borders out of real economic necessity. The time has long passed for a national conversation on refugees, on their treatment and their path to Guyanese citizenship. Unless decisive action is taken, Guyanese will find that their country faces serious threats to its security and sovereignty without a gunshot fired in anger or in any military action. In the 2 years remaining in its tenure, the PPP needs to act before the situation gets worse. Thank you.
Yeah, you heard it there, folks. Mr. Norton says his time is long past for a national conversation on refugees. Because the way the PPP dealing with this matter, folks, them boys coming across the border could get a birth certificate faster than you and I. Much faster than you and I, Michelle Garrett, Dolly Anderson. God forbid, you have to apply For replacement or new birth certificate, Savita Richards, Beryl Crawford, God forbid you get a time in your life. But it seems as though the people on the border with the folks from the GRO's office, the folks from the post office, ready to register these folks and get their board paper. So we're following that, a very, very comprehensive statement out of Mr. Norton. The time is long past for national conversation on refugees. Yep. In every region, the Venezuelans are pouring in. And it's an unmitigated pour. Yep. Government isn't saying anything. Why? Because an extra vote here and there could keep them in power, thieving out the oil money. Leslie Patrice Hamilton, a couple of votes here and there, Marlene de Young, can keep them. You see, dealing with Exxon. We got to watch this, folks. Very, very serious issue. Very, very, extremely, extremely serious issue. And this is not just who in power and who out of power. It's not just that. And it is that. It is that. You heard Mr. Norton talk there about a soft invasion. A soft invasion. Look, when you go into the city, take a walk on Regent Street and just stand up a little bit and listen. Close your eyes and listen. And you're going to hear so many languages on Regent Street. And there's a dominant one. And you're going to say, wait, I ain't Guyana still. I ain't Guyana still. You're going to hear a dominant, you're going to see a dominant one too. And why we love folks coming here, and Guyana has been a melting pot for a long time. 6 people, so now we got about 12. And them boys coming across the border make about 4 alone. Why we love that? The implications with folks who have a claim on our territorial borders and go to the parliament and make all kinds of passionate speeches about ownership and laying claim to more than half of this country. We got to take this serious. But Jack Gillett don't want to give away peace anyhow. Already wanted to give away peace anyhow. All right. Further we say not on this matter. Further we say not on this matter. Exxon say they are folks of integrity, transparency, and accountability. PPP said the same thing. The PPP said the same thing, Veronica Innes. Winston Granada, they said the same thing. Glenford Gordon, Rafi, Marlene, Leslin. They say they like good governance, transparency, and accountability. And yet, Bobby Gusai was right under the nose operating. They didn't know. We can discipline him. We can find Sue. Bobby doing a PhD. Just realized he had a scholarship. He had a PhD overseas. Neil Thomas, Lambert, Debbie, politics. Doing his PhD. Nice and dandy overseas. Folks about the issues we're contending with in the 592 this morning. A lot of things we got to deal with on this front. A lot of things we got to deal with. Mortimer Strim, Vesta Hardy, lots of issues on the front. Young man lost his life quite recently trying to swim across the Kuyuni River. Kurutaku village on the Kuyuni River hails from. Chris LaRose is his name, 24 years young. Something got into Chris's head. He said, man, he said, I can swim across. Folks, those rivers are unforgiving. Unforgiving. Don't even know if he was a swimmer. If he could swim. What really transpired yesterday morning? Chris Chris LaRove got up yesterday morning. He decided he's going to swim across the Cuyuni-Mazaruni River there. He hails from Kurutaku. In that region. And they said that didn't make it. 9-year-old said she witnessed what happened. Chris went down, did not resurface. Did not resurface. Did not resurface. I told you folks, there's a massive crusade happening on the East Coast. I saw some billboards up also yesterday. I was in Tushen, saw some billboards up there. Know they're going to have a big one at Lenora. Lenora, I ain't know if they're going there to drive out air front or what, but the big one going to be at Lenora. We need more of that. We need more of that. And our thoughts and prayers are with Chris LaRose's family, 24 years old, attempted to swim across the Cuyuni River. Reports are that he disappeared underwater and never resurfaced. His body was later found. Yep, thoughts and prayers with Chris LaRose's family. Our thoughts and our prayers are with them. Just some of what's happening, folks. Just some of what's happening. Yeah. As easy as that, folks. Those of you people of faith, Muslim, Christian, you're a person of faith, you're calling a higher power out for this country. Do that for us. For this country. Right? I know some of you are looking at this river and you're all seeing a bulge. Right? You're looking at the river, you're seeing a bulge. So we just left the Cuyuni-Mazaruni region. I tell you guys all the time, they got certain pandemics. We're dealing with the carnage on our roads and waterways, violence against women and girls. It's about 7 plagues we've witnessed since August 2nd, 2020. About 7 plagues. On the Essequibo River yesterday, a truck, River Tech 1. River Take 1. The truck driver luckily escaped death yesterday morning when his vehicle slipped into the Essequibo River at Mango Landing, Region 8. No, if it's a mango peel or what he slipped on. Truck driver says the brakes failed. The man drove the truck onto a pontoon, which crosses the river daily, and while positioning the truck on the pontoon, the vehicle brakes reportedly failed and subsequently broke through the rails of the vessel and slipped into the river. Slipped into the river. You all know any other day the brakes would work. Roxanne Garway, Ben Linton, Kyle Bino. Any other day the brakes would work perfectly fine. Any other day, any other place. But you see these crosses that we got? Wenda, Onesumardi. You see these crosses that we got to deal with in this country of ours? What are you all having at your end, good folks, this morning? I don't want to start the day on this note, but it is what is out there. And we only seek to bring you guys valid, credible information. John Jones, out front parts. I find like since they left Suriname, in front of them, they're going Guadeloupe now and doing the work. Whole host of other things you got to deal with. Gil Ali Cock says, what is going on? What else? How the sheriff said, mercy. Mercy. Christopher Jones says, mercy. Mercy indeed. Kyle Bino. Don Ben says she did some food. Happy for you, Don. Andrew Griffith says, never a dull moment in Ghana. That is the way you characterize it. Never a dull moment. Thankfully, the truck driver was unhurt. Thankfully. Yeah. Never a dull moment. John Sullivan says, Pocatory. Lynn Fernand says, Ghana's a complete mess. Lynn, thanks for the thing. Lynn Fernandez. Thanks for the thing, Lynn. Thanks for the thing. Help to keep us going. Folks, unfortunately, we don't run out of water. You see, when we have that shutdown with the internet, you know, I say, y'all pay the bill. You know, that's the first thing you gotta find out. Before you start abusing people out. That's the first thing. You know, y'all pay the bill. You pay the bill. Gotta thank folks like Sharma and Royden and Renee who have to keep us going. You know, y'all know yourself. Sharma, Royden, Renee. Thank you, folks. Lynn Fernandez. We have to keep us going. Thank you guys so much. It means the world to us. It means the world to us. When the internet, when we ready to come on, you know. Looking at it, we had program time and the internet is fighting. We ready to fight with valid, credible information. The internet don't want to fight. And very quietly, Gwyneth Anderson, you know, paying your old coach money. I said very quietly done. I said, we pay the bill. Maureen Chester, Donald George, we pay the bill. See, yeah, we good. And then I saw a message. Let me read it. Because I don't want y'all think we're pulling a fast one. And I don't want to tell stories on the in the company because no, this is not gonna happen. Like Exxon and the opposition, we ain't gonna record in this meeting. Right? But they sent us a text yesterday morning. Right? They sent us a text. You may be experiencing a disruption to your internet service. I say yes, President. You may be experiencing a disruption to your internet service. Right? Much like the truck, the slip overboard yesterday. Techs are working to resolve this as soon as possible. We apologize for the inconvenience. It was whole day. You are experiencing, folks. We plug out the router, we plug it in back. We thought it was our problem. Pay the bill. Service provider says, was their fault. We paid the bill. Service provider slipped overboard yesterday. But I bring her back this up. Somebody accused me tracking this morning. Young lady fighting for her life. Fighting for her life. Because we're in the 592, of course. We're in the 592. And you don't know what you don't know. We want to send our prayers with her. Gotta send our prayers with her. She was struck down by a speeding car. She's a student on the Essequibo course. Abram Zul Secondary School. I have a beautiful school there. The Abram Zul Secondary School. They said she's battling for her life at the Georgetown Public Hospital after she was struck down by a speeding car in the area of Good Intent on Saturday. Right. Her name is Rahana Basdio of Aurora Estate. 12 years old, struck down by a vehicle. We say it all the time. Slow down, you know the rest. Let me arrive alive. Carnage on our roads. Carnage in our waterways. Young lady fighting, battling Wendell Hudson, Glenford Gordon, battling for her life. It's Abraham Zul Secondary School student, 12 years old. She's in a hospital bed fighting. fighting. Folks, I wish above all else that you prosper and be in good health as your soul prosper. But if everything ever happened to me, don't cry me Georgetown, Jackie Bate, or Madao, Yolanda Tom. Don't cry me Georgetown, Dara David. 12 years old, Rihanna was struck down. Good intent. Struck down. She's from Aurora State, Region 2, Pomeroon, Suriname. Rihanna Basdio. You must pray for her and her family. Now them little ones sick. The whole day disrupted. You got to tend and care for them. This child was struck down by a car. Speeding car. Yolanda Thomas is a jumbie board. Or is a Jaguar. Or is a trench crapo. Speeding car. Slow down out there, folks. Slow down. Folks in the ask for you as well. And tell your family home. In the 592, if you don't slow down, we ain't sending remittances anymore. Slow down, good folks. And let me arrive alive. Please and thank you. Shauna. Right? Here what Shauna Fortune says. You should see what the truck drivers doing on the west side. Fetching sand and stone to the harbor bridge. You would think the drivers on a racetrack. I don't doubt you. I don't doubt you. Don't doubt you at all. Slow down out there. Now, thoughts and prayers with 12-year-old Rihanna Basio. We hope that she makes a full recovery. Thoughts with her family as well. Our prayers are with them. Right? If you all see that crusade close by, you must go to it. And say a prayer. I know the schedule. I pass, I see the signboard. I see some of it on Facebook. But if you see that sign that the crusade is close to you, you must go to it. And say they'll pray for this country. Good book says if it's people who are called by his name, if you're called by his name, well, you're out. If you're called by his name, you're out. And he's not a Jacobite or a trench crapper. So if you humble yourselves and pray, you turn from your wicked ways, well, you know them boys, you're going to see Father. I can hear you from upstairs, and I can heal the land. You know them boys and see him, Father, like that. Deborah Shirley Lynch. Deborah says, East Bank, the trucks on the road. Deborah Shirley Lynch and the East Bank, they're on the road. I saw something as we were coming on, thick smoke someplace on the East Bank. Thick smoke. Folks somewhere in the East Bank said they get smoke out whole night. They're cooking them like it's barbecue. Smoke out whole night. Who got money, got bargain? It's the wild west, you know. And we don't make this stuff up. Again, our thoughts and prayers with Rihanna Basio and her family. You know, she recovers. Look what the traffic department tells us. I'm happy that they're putting together the stats. Hopefully to jolt us that we're doing nonsense. To jolt us, Deborah Pearson. We're doing foolishness. Gwyneth Anderson. 741 traffic violations over the weekend. Last weekend. Not last month. Not for the last year. Last weekend, 741 traffic violations, folks. With a 2x4. There were 19 of us in this country. And 741. Yesterday we had over Tushen. Long line. Going to Vreeden Hoop. Right? You got vehicles beating on the inside, as we say. There's a movie there. Beating on the inside. There's no second lane there, but they beat it on the inside. And then a fella in a 4x4, he's so impatient. He gone on the other side of the road, and in the same direction, half of the vehicle on the pavement. Wild West. The Wild West. He going on the pavement, you know. Going down. On the pavement. Slow down. 741. 741 traffic violations over the weekend. Folks, says the Jumbie Bird, Andrew Jarvis, Deborah Leach, the Jumbie Bird, 741. Believe it or not. We see it again, slow down. Tell your relatives in Ghana, if you don't slow down out there, I ain't sending the thing. Slow down. We got to address this problem. We have to address, you all hear what happened with the sand trucks. On the road, East Bank, West Bank. And then you got all these bulges you got to deal with. Marcy Ager, 1,400 of you watching us this morning. I'm so glad. 1,400 of you. Share the live. Smash that emoji button, good folks. Feel free to partner with us as well. Gwyneth Anderson, we see you out there. This is just some of what we're covering. Some of what we're covering at our end, folks. Let's bring you up to speed of some of what we're tracking regionally before we let you guys go. Jules Mona, Paulette, and all the other folks. Marlon Pandey watching us on the live this morning. Good morning, Marlon. The folks of Carmichael Street. Regionally, you all know them boys gone to Canada. Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, invited CARICOM. They're there. Irfan gone up too. Irfan gone up as well. And they're going to be discussing trade and climate change and a number of things, Ras Ricardo. Michelle Garrett, a number of things. Esther Cumberbatch, they're going to be discussing there in Ottawa. I wish them the best. Sometimes you wonder about CARICOM. Sometimes you wonder long and hard. You know? Are we achieving what our forefathers set out to achieve? When they first signed that historic Treaty of Chaguaramas. Leaves a lot to wonder. I want to go to Haiti and have a meeting. That's where I want to go. Go to Haiti. No. They want them kind of war zones, you know. They want it plush. Luxurious living. With the CARICOM. Vesta, Paulette, Kishan. With the CARICOM. It's withering. There is where it's withering. Trinidad. 2 toddlers were found in an abandoned building. Listen to this story here now. Think you got it bad? 2 toddlers. Found abandoned. 2 children were found naked. This is Trinidad Express. 2 children were found naked and alone in an abandoned structure in Dabadie on Monday night. Around 7:30, police constables French and Hanaway were conducting patrols along the Sema Drive North Jordan Trace when they observed 2 children playing on the pavement. Playing on the pavement. One of the children was naked and holding a disposable diaper. Yep. One of the children was naked and holding a disposable diaper. Both appeared to be about 3 years old. The 2 children then walked inside the abandoned structure. The officers approached the children and called out for the adults. No one responded. The officers used the vehicle's horn and swivel lights, but no one responded. They then entered the structure and found the children in one of the rooms. The area was overgrown with bush and appeared to be infested with cockroaches and rats, the police told the Express. The officers then took the children to the Bologna police station. And the Trinidad and Tobago Police, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Child Protection Unit was notified. Investigators questioned the residents in the area and were told the children lived in the structure with their parents who had not been seen all day. The children lived in the abandoned structure with their parents who had not been seen all day. Around 9 p.m., the officers returned to the area and found the couple, aged 32 and 21, there. The two were detained and will be questioned on allegations of child abandonment. Yeah. They will be questioned on allegations of child abandonment. Yeah. Think you got it bad, folks? Others got it much worse. Finally, folks, international news. See what's happening with this war we got to deal with? You see what's happening with this war? The Gaza and the Gully. Oh, they sing about it. You should carry some of them. Who's not Gaza and who is Gully and all this foolishness? Let us see the same one with Gaza and Gully. Bombs dropping Wild West, hospitals exploded. Patients dying, not from the sicknesses they went in with, blown to pieces. Blown to pieces. Saw President Biden says, it was not the Israelis. He said some other people. He didn't say Hamas. He didn't say the Palestinians. He said some other people blew up this hospital. Where the Gaza and Gully people? How is Gaza? How is Gully? You need to go there and see. You know, Wilfred Owens, recollecting this from memory, called a war poet. War poet Wilfred Owens wrote a ballad many years ago, long time ago. You know, the title of the poem is Dulce et decorum est per patria more. Don't tell young men it is sweet and fitting to die for one's country. And it's in this poetic way he articulates the ravages and savages of war. He said, don't tell young men ardent for some desperate glory that it is sweet and fitting to die for one's country. He said, when you see bombs bursting and people's skin melting, dulce et decorum est per patria mori. It is not sweet and fitting to die for one's country in that way. Where the Gaza and the Gully people? Where the people of Gaza, Gully and Gaza? Whole hospital bombed. We got to stop this madness. You got this, you got the Gaza and Gully and Ukraine and Russia. And China caught in the middle, torn between two lovers, feeling like a fool. We got to stop this madness as a humanity. And this is what the Venezuelans want to bring here. And Ali them taking things lightly with the soft invasion. Taking things quite lightly. As Mr. Norton put it, it could be a soft invasion on our hand, on our doorstep. Yeah. Russian Foreign Affairs Minister heading to North Korea. Russia deepening its ties with these autocratic, dictatorial regimes. They said the deepening ties. That's part of what this trip is supposed to do. Yep. Sergei Lavrov heading to North Korea. You know, they got their own basket of issues. Own basket of issues in that region. This is our world today, folks. This is our world today. And that's a snapshot we've been seeking to give you of what's transpiring in our world today. It's just a snapshot on every front, at home and abroad. A snapshot. And it Cummins, Kyle Bino, that's where we are. Folks, you better stay vigilant out there. You go out, you come back in, thank the Father, because you don't know. You just don't know. And it Cummins says, the SWIFT invasion, right, soft invasion of the Venezuelans. Yeah, that's a Mr. Norton character. It could be a soft invasion. You heard Mr. Norton quoted, the numbers could be as high as 35,000. And that is conservative by some estimates that put Venezuelans who have come across the board at 100,000. 35,000 is a conservative figure. Other folks believe it's 100,000 Venezuelans are with us by this illegal crossing. Thanks to an illegal government, here we are, good folks. Here we are. And these are the issues we're contending with. John Wolford, we see you there. We see you there. Edward Brooms, Dolly Anderson, Kyle Bino, each and every one of you. Folks, you're heading out this morning. You're going to head into the city to transact some business. We want to recommend the Alistair Collins firm. Fantastic bunch of people. Fantastic bunch of people. They're down there, the Callion Mall. On Lamaha Street between Camp and Waterloo Streets. They are experts, folks, at all your documentation needs. And so don't look no place else. 649-6410. They're closer to Waterloo than they are to Camp. The Callion Mall, you go in on the ground floor. They're always playing some lovely classical music in that AC space that they have there. You know, sweetly scented, nice aromatic things. You know, making you feel so comfortable when you go in. 649-6410. 685-6448. 685-6448. Those are the numbers you want to call the Alistair Collins firm. We want to recommend them highly. We use them all the time. We use them all the time. Raquel Gentle, Marla. So we recommend them. John Jones, Maureen Chichester Paul. We want to recommend them for all your documentation needs. Good folks. For all your documentation needs. Experts. That's what we tell you. Experts. Right? And don't forget this too. You have a story. Don't forget us. 627-6963. You have a story. Something happening by you. Say, you know, something bulging by your end. Don't forget us. And finally, folks, partner with us. Leave a tip. You got valid, credible information over the last hour. Leave a tip. Please and thank you. We don't say how much, because no amount is too little, and definitely no amount is too great. We don't tell you how. Right? You see that link going by there? You see it, good folks? You see it? Leave a tip, folks, so we can keep on keeping on. I tell you, I had to ask the people yesterday, we paid the bill. Eswick Allen, we paid it like, did we pay the internet? You know, it's got to ask it quiet before you start abusing out. Ask very quietly and circumspectly, we paid the bill. We paid. Folks, send us a donation, send us a tip to help us to keep going. Those are all our QR codes. The last one is the one we're sharing on the link. You click on that, you have a Visa card, you have a credit card, a debit card. You can send us a donation. 670 plus folks watching us, folks, via YouTube. Hundreds watching via YouTube. Thank you guys so much. And even more watching us via the other social media platforms, especially Facebook. Fastbook. This packet of Fastbook. And our official number, folks, 627-6963. 627-6963. Thanks for joining us this morning. Good, folks. Being here with us for the last hour or so, it's been our privilege. It's been our privilege being here with you wonderful folks. Esmic Allen, Brenda Moore, Roy Garway, Auntie Sandra Hanover, and all those folks at the clinic. You all know yourselves. All of those folks at the clinic that I met the other day who had such bright sunshine smiles at the clinic. You know yourselves. Good morning to you guys as well. Jacqueline Johnson, Maxine Monroe, all the girls at the clinic, good morning to you as well. Leon Blair, Gwen Anderson, Jilly G. That's going to do it for us at this end, folks. That's our time. That's our program. Until our next morning.